for a COVID vaccine at the exact same time, but I'm not that lucky. So welcome everybody. Make sure that you go into the chat and that you sign in. Happy to see you all. It looks like we have some visitors here today, which is great. Love that. There's a little bit of blue sky outside. Better than yesterday, right? Yesterday was kind of a rainy day, but that's March for you, right? Can't expect it all to be blue skies and beautiful weather every day in the month of March. All right, everyone. Well, it is 12:02. We'll get started with our meeting. My name is Barb Thomas, and I'm the president this year of the Iowa City Noon Rotary Club. We're very happy to have you here today. And so Devin is going to share a slide with us so that we can see the flag. And then I encourage you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Devin, you want to take that away? There we go. All right, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thank you all. Just a reminder that you may want to mute your microphones just so that we don't get background noise or other reverberations. When it comes time to speak, you can unmute yourself, or if you need help, Devin can help you with that as well. So before we get going in the meeting, I am going to turn it over to Devin for some Zoom tips. Devin?
Yeah, thanks, President Barb. So yeah, real fast. We're probably most of us experts on this thing. There's the mute button. Oh. Somewhere, somehow, somebody was reverberating. I think we've got it now. But that's another reminder that it is important to have your microphone muted so that you don't get the reverb. You can start and stop your video. You can check out all of the other wonderful participants. On the participants tab, you can change your view in the top right if you're on a computer, and that will let you see either gallery view. I'm seeing a whole bunch of faces right here of fellow Rotarians, or you can switch to the speaker view, which I recommend for when we have a presenter or Barb's talking, or if we have announcements. And then finally, if you could sign into the chat so that we can get you down for attendance, or if you have questions or something like that. Another great way to ask questions of our presenter, or if you have something to say, or if you have a guest or a visitor, you can raise your hand. And to do that, you go into the participants tab, and then you can click raise hand. Back to you, President Barb.
Great, thank you very much, Devin. And just a reminder to people that it's probably good for you to mute your microphone. I think we can all comment on Devin's new facial hair. As you see, Devin went away for a little trip. It came in well, Devin. I'm pretty impressed that that can happen in like a week. And his wife has given him a 1-month facial hair permission slip. So I think it'll be interesting for all of us to see how much of a beard Devin gets in a month. He's shaking his head. No, not going to happen. Well, you know, in these days of Zoom meetings, it's something to look forward to, right, everybody? Okay, so now we're going to give you that opportunity to practice your Zoom tips by raising your hand and allowing us to introduce any guests that you have coming, or if you are a guest. And then Devin will actually call on you. So Devin, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Yep, looks like we've got a few. John Kenyon, I saw your hand first.
Yeah, hi everyone. John Kenyon, and my guest is Anna Barker, who's been with us several times over the last few months now. She's an assistant adjunct professor at the University of Iowa. Welcome, Anna.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for coming again.
Hi, I'll keep my camera off.
All right, well, we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Travis?
Hi there, I'm Travis Hyatt. I am a guest of Colleen Brown, who I believe is not here quite yet. She had an appointment at 11, run a little late. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Travis. Chris Knapp.
Howdy, folks. It feels like old home week. It's Chris Knapp, past district governor. I'm happy to be here. I'm the current foundation chair for District 6000. Always look forward to attending your meetings.
Well, we're glad to have you, Chris. Thanks for coming. And then Nancy Hughes. I assume that's Nancy Quellhorst.
Hi, everybody. It is my pleasure to again be hosting Brent Karstensen.
Well,
Hi, it's good to be with you again. Thank you, Nancy, for hosting me.
thanks for coming, Brent. We're glad to have you. Mark Ruggeberg.
Hello, everyone. Just visiting from the Rotary Club of Iowa City downtown.
We're glad to have you. Nice to have crosstown visitors. And those are all of the hands that I see. Were there any visiting Rotarians or visitors that we missed? All right, back to you, President Barb.
Great, thank you so much, Devin, and welcome to everyone. Happy to have you here. Happy to have our fellow Rotarians here, as well as visitors. Glad to see Brent here. I know Brent is actually in the trail towards membership in our club, and we're just hopeful that some of the rest of you that might be visiting might consider that as well. So next we'll move on to announcements. I do want to talk to you briefly about an email that I received today. And so this came from Rotary International, and it's about their diversity efforts. And so Rotary International is going to be sending out a survey to members about where we are currently in our diversity efforts. How are our clubs diverse? What do we need to work on? So one, I want you to watch for that email, but I do want you to know that not everyone will receive this email. They're not emailing all 2 million members. It's actually kind of random. And so not everyone will receive it. So if you are one of the ones that do receive that email, I want to encourage you to take the time. It will not take a lot of time, but please take the time and fill out that survey. So great. Thank you very much. And next, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Atchison, who has an announcement about our Rotary Grants. Chris?
Well, thanks a lot, President Barb. This is the time of year where the district is awaiting applications for community grants. And I'm going to try to load a load a slide if I can. As I said, I've never.
Hey, we're going to go to our rendering.
Did it get up there?
Not yet.
Okay. I hit share screen.
And then do you see a bunch and you click on the one that you want to share?
Well, I wanted to do PowerPoint, but it's telling me it's unknown. So I don't know what that means. I apologize.
That's okay. Not a problem. Technology is our friend and sometimes our enemy, you know?
Well, okay. I'll just talk about it, and then if Tracy Trittle's on, asking her to talk a little bit too. So this is the time of year where the Rotary District makes us eligible for community service grants. This is 25% of the donations from you members to the foundation. Well, there we go. Thank you. I assume Devin put that up, or somebody did?
Tracy did. Thank you.
Oh, Tracy, thank you. I told her it was going to be a panic on my part. The 25% of our donations to the foundation stay in the district. And if I say anything wrong, Chris Knapp is on the call, so he can correct us. But it's really important then that I think our club think about some of the good projects that this area needs, both with our club, or if we can combine with other clubs, that's good too. But Tracy, what are some of the ideas that you've seen for projects?
Well, I think it's important to keep in mind the focus of Rotary when we're looking at this. Let me make this big screen again here. So they look for disease prevention and treatment, water, sanitation and hygiene, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, community economic development, and focus on the environment. So projects can fall within those areas. I know we had the Heart Safe defibrillator project that was very, very successful and continues to be successful, as well as the birdhouse project, which falls more in the environmental section. So we encourage you to bring your ideas. You can always email Chris and I, and we can let you know, give you some feedback on the projects. And then we did just want to highlight also the partnership that we had with the Johnson County Community Foundation. It's kind of a mouthful. Last fall in response to the COVID pandemic. And additionally, in response to the derecho that hit the area, there were 12 projects that we helped fund in partnership with a couple of other organizations and the foundation, totaling about $30,000 was our contribution. So we were excited to be able to participate and share the abundance and support the county as well. So Chris, maybe if you want to talk a little bit about logistics now.
Sure. So the process is this. We need a 1 to 2 page summary of a project that you might put together by April 19th. That will give the board of directors of the Iowa City Noon Club time to go over the proposals, get back with an approval of one. Most of May then would be the time where you would actually put a final proposal together. It will be built off the draft proposal or the summary proposal, including a project description, what the benefit is to the community, how Rotarians will be involved in the project, and a budget. It's real important that those 4 elements are there. That's something the district and indeed international needs for their records. That will be submitted once approved, final approval by the club to the district. They will receive it by June 1. So you can kind of get in your mind, May is where you put the final proposal together. Awards are expected by August of this year. And then obviously the fiscal year for the project begins after that. It's real important during the project year that you keep records. The district is mightily concerned about good financial records, good club involvement records, photographs. So kind of build those into your mind. But meanwhile, if you want more information, go to the district site. We put it at the bottom of the slide, www.rotary6000.org site page, community service grants. That will give you more information. Or obviously, Tracy and I will be able to respond to any questions you might have during this process. Any questions or other ideas, Tracy?
Now, I would just open it up to whether there are any questions coming from our fellow Rotarians.
Hearing none. Thank you, Barb.
Okay, great. So I encourage everybody to think about those options. And if you have questions, Chris and Tracy are there. They have gone through the training that the district provides, etc. So you can kind of reach out to them. They'll provide more information and kind of work with you through this process. So it's a great opportunity for our club to do some great work in our community. So please consider it. Next, I'd like to turn it over to Ron Ettinger. Ron, I believe you have an announcement about the dictionary project. Ron?
Yeah, hello. Can people hear me?
We can.
Good afternoon. Actually, the very last email I just got on my computer looks like we have enough people to distribute the dictionaries. So that's terrific. And I thank all the people who volunteered, including yourself, Barb. That was very kind of you. So we'll be able to get them out hopefully by this weekend.
Well, I am hopeful. I'm taking Horn Elementary because that's the school my kids went to. However, it is spring break. So I'm actually planning to put those little labels into them and then deliver them probably at the beginning of next week myself. So great.
I thank you very much for your help, and also the other people from Rotary who have volunteered to do this. I think it's great. The only difference this year is that we're actually not going into the classroom like we have in the past to distribute the books to the fourth graders ourselves. We're delivering them to the schools, and the teachers will distribute them hopefully for us. So
Great.
we're just simply contacting the principals of each of the schools and delivering the books when it's convenient.
And
But-
Ron, can you remind us which schools our club is supporting?
I haven't got it in front of me. Weber, Alexander, Kirkwood, Horn, and one more. Oops.
There is one more. I think you're right.
Yes.
Kate Wickham is the last one.
Kate Wickham, thank you so much.
That's because Eric is taking Kate Wickham, I believe. So it's a great opportunity for us all to be involved and to have a positive impact on the youth in our community. So next I want to go to Ryan Bell, who is in his car right now, and he is going to give us an announcement as well. Ryan?
Yep, thanks, Barb. Hopefully my audio comes through okay. I'm tuning in from the family truckster here, making a little road trip on spring break. Two announcements real quickly. We've got the Ride to End Polio coming up. That's a district-wide event. Each club in the district is trying to promote that their club members do a virtual exercise. It can be a ride, it can be a hike, a bike, a series of somersaults, whatever you want. And basically then pledge $30 or more to the district. And we would love to get a nice percentage of our club to do that. I'm more prepared today, so I will drop the address you can mail a check to in the chat box here as soon as I'm done. And would love for as many of you to send $30 or more. You know, 30 bucks buys a lot of polio vaccines, so every little bit helps, as you guys know. The second announcement is just more of a placeholder on your calendars. We will be doing some cool both tree planting and litter collection on April 24th in celebration of Earth Day. So more details to come on that, but April 24th, we'll be planting some trees and making our roadways in Johnson County a little bit cleaner. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you all.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan. So make sure you think about that $30 to help end polio, but then also that you put that little mark on Saturday, April 24th, so that you can join us for one of those two events. And I know that Ryan and Dave Brown will also be providing more information as we get closer to those dates in April. Last, before we move on, I do want to encourage people that also on April 24th, but in the evening, is the district conference. And so the district conference is being held both in person in Ankeny as well as virtually. And so in order to encourage participation, our board is willing to support or reimburse up to 20 members for their virtual attendance of the conference on April 24th. So to do that, you simply need to go to the District 6000 website, register for the district conference, and then make sure that you have the receipt of your payment, and then provide that to either me or to our treasurer, Neil Quellhorst, and we will reimburse you that $25 after the event. So again, we want to encourage everyone. It's going to happen from, I believe, 4:30 till 9 p.m. It's a Saturday evening. What else are you going to do, right? It's a Saturday in the spring. You can do this. So please consider joining us and attending the District 6000 conference virtually. So next, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go to Christy Fehlberg, who will provide for us her Rotary moment of gratitude and positivity. Christy? Okay, Christy, we aren't hearing you.
Okay,
Here you are.
You know, I'm trying to be positive about technology today and it's not working, but I'm going to keep trying. Okay. So when I was thinking about what I would say today, I was thinking about the past year and how much time I've had to really think about things. And I'll be honest, it was probably way too much time to think about things. But believe it or not, there are a few times that I found that my attitude was not super positive and I needed to turn it around. So whenever I need that quick fix, my go-to is my granddaughter, Natalie. And although I haven't gotten to spend as much physical time with her as I would like many of you with grandchildren and children, we've made do. And she reminds me always how to look at the bright side of the things. Like the day I talked to her after school and asked her, what was the best thing that happened to you today? And she replied, I got to hug my teacher because she said a side hug would be okay every once in a while. So she's in kindergarten and this hasn't been the year of normal memories, but she takes it all in stride. We FaceTime a lot and I get kind of dizzy when she runs all around the house. And sometimes I just get to see the ceiling, but that's okay because we've found a new way to connect. I listened to her talk to me about virtual learning, and I know that this has to be the first year a kindergartner knows the word virtual. I've thought a lot about age and stages of life and how we've all handled positivity this year. Natalie doesn't really understand her experience has been that different, so she just rolls with it every day. So I'm doing that too. Whenever I need to fix my attitude, I just have started thinking like my favorite 5-year-old. In closing, I've been wanting to share this video because I think of Rotary every time I see it. So wait until the very end when she adds a little 5-year-old spice, and maybe next time you're running low on positivity, this will make you smile too.
All right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic of which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, and
justice for all.
Justice for all, and love ya.
I absolutely love that as well. I think I love her little love ya at the end. You know, what a great little positive thing. I also love the fact that she's wearing the costume from Toy Story. I also really love. That's just really delightful. And it's great. Thank you so much for sharing with us what keeps you positive, what makes you grateful. You know, those are all a part. Those are some of the things that we have to do. We have to think about the things that we love. And I have to say that I'm thrilled that more and more of our members are becoming vaccinated and they're being able to see their grandkids. I mean, what a great experience for all of us. I think we can all agree that the light is coming. It's at the end of the tunnel, but the end of the tunnel is coming closer and closer. And, you know, at some point in time, we might actually be able to meet in person again. So I think that's all a very good thing. So thank you, Christy, for sharing that with us today. So next, we also have another very special treat today. I need to go to a different screen. And so next, what we're going to have is we're going to have a Rotary song. That's right. We haven't been singing as much as we usually do in the time of Rotary, but here's how we're going to do it. Is that we are going to, Aaron Schaefer is going to lead us in Smile. I'm going to share the words, but I want you to keep your microphones muted because I think it's just going to sound a lot better if we listen to Aaron and then our own voices separately, rather than all of these voices kind of coming in like they would with the way it would happen with Zoom. So, Aaron, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm going to share my screen with the words so that you can be reminded and you can take it away, Aaron.
All right. The intro is the hardest part. So here we go. See, I told you. Smile, and the world smiles with you. Sing a song. Don't be weary, just be cheery all day long. Whenever your trials, your troubles, and your cares seem to be more than you can really bear, smile, and the world smiles with you. Sing a song. Thank you.
That was great, Aaron. Thank you very much. So before we move on for our program today, I do want to call on Gary Pasha. It looks like he has his hand up. Gary, do you have an announcement? Gary, I don't think we can hear you right now. Sorry, still no sound. Ah, technology, our friend, once again. So let's see, I don't know if we can solve this at all. Okay, if you guys want to, why don't you type into the chat whatever your announcement was? How's that sound? Great, thank you so much. So next we will move on to our program. I would like to introduce Linda Farkas, who will introduce our speaker today. Linda?
Thank you, President Barb. Today, it's absolutely my pleasure to bring in our two great friends from the World Affairs Seminar. And before I introduce them, I want to talk about one thing. In 2009, the AM and Noon Rotary sent 2 students from the Iowa City area to World Affairs. In 2021, AM, Downtown, and Noon Rotary are going to send 32 students. And there's basically 2 reasons why that is happening. And one is all of our wonderful donors have given so much money that we can do this. The other reason is we have this incredible collaboration. We have Mark Ruckelberg and Nancy Pasha from our clubs and joining us today. And we have such an amazing friendship and collaboration with them. And the hard work from our committee members. That's one reason. There's 3 reasons in the one reason. And the next one is the amazing people at World Affairs that have put together this incredible program. So I'm going to introduce both of them now. And one is, the first one I'm talking about is Tom Plantenberg. And Tom is the executive director of World Affairs. And he has created a high-profile advisory board for World Affairs. He's a certified fundraising executive. He is accredited by the Association of Healthcare Philanthropy and a fellow past president of the Wisconsin Hospital Public Relations and Marketing Society. He retired in 2007 from the U.S. Navy Reserve at the rank of captain. And our next speaker will be Stuart Schmidt. And Stuart just graduated in 2017 from Northland College with a degree in Sustainable Community Development and Sociology. He attended World Affairs Seminar as a high school delegate and has since found passion in supporting youth empowerment through education. Stuart joined the World Affairs staff with experience in higher education, youth program development, fundraising, and donor management skills in web development and photography. He has many roles at World Affairs, including staff counselor, senior staff, and web developer. And in his current role, he coordinates registration, manages delegate room assignments, coordinates meals, manages the website, social media, and provides a host of other services, sponsors, and delegates. And I've been involved with World Affairs when they did it all virtually last year. And I can tell you, Stuart and Barb could both be masters at Zoom rooms. So with that, I am going to turn this over to Tom, and this will begin our talk.
Well, thanks for having me. As Linda said, my name's Tom Plantenberg. I took on the role of executive director in 2008. It was going to be a 2 or 3 year deal, and I guess it's been about 14 years now, 13, 14 years. It's a passion for me that seems to grow every year. I'm just going to assume that most of you have some kind of an inkling of what World Affairs is, so I'll be brief with basically who we are and what we are. We're Rotary District 6270 Youth Initiative. international youth initiative. We've been going since 1976 when our board was formed by a couple of Rotarians at University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. These guys were both professors and they kind of took the helm. They kind of gave up the ghost about 7 years later, 8 years later, and then a guy named Rick Lutke took over and he did it for another 6 or 7. And I've been doing it, like I said, for about 13 or 14 years. So I'm the 3rd executive director. Our motto is peace through understanding. And basically the whole concept of world affairs is that if we bring young people, high school age students, together from around the world and have them explore different topics, identify issues and problems, and come up with solutions to those problems, when they inherit the world, they will solve the world's problems in a peaceful way. Now, just a little background on myself. You know, I was in the Navy for 38 years. I served on battleships, was one of the platforms I served on. Got to fire those 16-inch guns. I always tell the delegates, I love to blow stuff up. Believe me, there's nothing more fun than blowing something up. But blowing each other up as an act of diplomacy, in my mind, as a military person, should be the last resort, not the first place we go. And so what I'm hoping is that this crop of young people that we graduate each year will take leadership roles in the world, and they will start solving problems in a much more diplomatic and peaceful way. We usually start out the program with a diplomacy exercise, and this is usually it's run by the U.S. State Department. They have a really good program, and we're able to dovetail into them. Even if they don't, they've still had a lot of influence in how we do these programs. The structure of the organization is very simple. We have myself, I'm the executive director, and I guess I'd call myself the business manager. We have Stuart, who handles technology, and he handles a lot of the on-site stuff. We have an incredible academic dean. He's a PhD and a professor at Milwaukee School of Engineering. He's a very creative and thoughtful person and puts a lot into recruiting speakers. We have keynote addresses, we have breakout sessions, and the core of our program is working groups of 10 to 15 high school age delegates who work with each other. We also use counselors. The counselors, since I've taken over, they've kind of backed off in the leadership role. They're not really instructors, but they're more facilitators, because we want the high school delegates who are participating to really take a strong role and kind of shape the program to their own needs. This year and last year, we were kind of pushed into the virtual world. We actually found out with our student body last year, we had 178 students, and we got some really good feedback from them. It looks like they had a really good experience, but they also gave us some good lessons, which we've been able to employ this year. Last night, we had our regular academic meeting, which is Stuart, Professor Carrier, and myself. And we came up with an idea that we're going to ask the delegates to go out into their communities and take photos and videos of what their world is like and bring them back and share them. And we think this is really going to be exciting. We have young people from Afghanistan, from all over Africa, from India, from all over Europe, and obviously all over the United States. And to see what different environments look like and how they function in different parts of the world, we think is going to be a real wonderful educational experience. So with that, I don't want to take too much time. I'm going to bounce this over to Stuart Schmidt, who, by the way, is my pride and joy. I consider myself his mentor, even though he may not accept that. And I'd like Stuart to explain some of the technology and some of the technical aspects of this year's seminar. Stuart?
Thanks, Tom. And I do, for everybody's reference, accept Tom as my mentor. I am a willing mentee at this point, but I think Tom did a really great job to overview the World Affairs seminar. Obviously, last year was our first time trying any type of virtual program, which of course is, as many of you know, carrying over into this year, which many people would see as a challenge, though I really see as an opportunity. We're continuing to host the full-length seminar June 19th through the 25th, and recognizing that many of these high school students are experiencing what we all know is Zoom fatigue at this point. They're tired of being in front of their computer screens. So how Dr. Carrier and I are structuring the academic platform or the curriculum for the week, as Tom mentioned, we're trying to get people away from their computer screens, but still engaging with the topic. Our topic being timely is cities, urban life in a changing world. And so we're typically in an in-person seminar, we would provide field trips for them throughout the metropolitan Milwaukee area. Of course, we can't lead them on field trips, and we don't want to sit them in front of the computer screen to go on a virtual field trip when they themselves are subject matter experts in their own communities. So let's send them into their own communities and engage them in kind of a pedagogical learning and teaching model where they're no longer the learners, they're the teachers. They can teach each other about their communities, about their cities, and about the issues and solutions that they see in their community. So we're really excited to be able to offer that as just one aspect of our week-long program this year. I know I want to keep an eye on the time and let you all ask questions if you have them. But we've made quite a few innovative enhancements in preparation for this year, leading all the way from our registration process, which Nancy and Linda were really both very influential in helping implement. So I'd like to thank both of them for helping us get to this point. But we're really looking forward to kind of continued growth, continued innovation, and hoping to have a really robust platform, complete with perhaps the way our numbers are looking, up to 300 virtual participants this year. We typically range in that area for an in-person seminar, but it's looking positive that we might achieve that goal for this year as well. So I guess with that, unless Tom wants to add anything else, I'd invite you all to ask your questions. I don't know how you facilitate that best in this group, but if you have them, we're open to them.
Great, thank you so much.
I do have just a couple more comments. One is that we are truly looking at an international group of speakers. Deo Alanganju from Nigeria, who is a member of our advisory board, and he's an internationally known speaker. K.R. Ravindran, who used to be the head of, he's from Sri Lanka, used to be the head of Rotary International a couple of years ago. Heinz Gerhard Jessenhoven from Germany. We have a woman from Afghanistan, and I'm blanking on her name, but she's bringing 4 student delegates from Afghanistan. You should also know that even in this virtual environment, all of our counselors are vetted with the rigorous Rotary background check. And so that's something. Student safety, participant safety is at the top of our agenda. So with that, I'll be happy, Stuart and I, please direct it to either Stuart or myself so we can answer as appropriate.
Great, thanks so much, Tom and Stuart. I do see that Linda Farkas has a question. And just a reminder to everybody else, you can go into that participants button and raise your hand. Or if you have a question and you're not comfortable with that, put it into the chat and we will try to call on you there as well. So Linda?
And I would like to do 2 things. One, I have questions for either one of you. Could you talk a little bit about the program this year? But before you do that, we have 2 West High students. Would you please come on and introduce yourselves real quick? Because we do have 2 West High students that will be attending World Affairs. So could you please do that real quick?
Hello, my name is Nicholas Sung, or you can call me Nick. I'm a junior at West High, and I am attending the World Affairs seminar this year in July, unfortunately online. And I am very excited to meet new people and try to learn some leadership skills and enhance that for me to use it in the future. Thank you.
And I think we have one more.
Hi, my name is Kaylee G, and I'm also attending the World Affairs Seminar this year. I'm a junior at West, and I'm also really excited to meet new people and have great discussions and learn leadership skills I can use in the future.
Thank you. Could Tom or Stuart, I don't care which one, could you please talk a little bit about the program this year? Because it's a very exciting topic.
Absolutely. So first of all, nice to meet both of you, Nick and Kaylee. We're looking forward to having you join us this summer. In terms of our theme, I mentioned it's urban life in a changing world. So we're really going to be taking kind of a comprehensive look at kind of how our globe is changing through urbanization. And so through our various keynote speakers, small discussion groups, and topical kind of thematic discussions, we're really going to be looking at the different issues that we're facing. I'm trying to page, as I'm speaking, through a couple of my emails with our academic dean, Dr. Carrier, who has done a really fantastic job to outline a program that will really comprehensively and holistically look at the different issues that we're facing. So we're going to be looking at food in the city, water in the city, energy, transportation, architecture, housing, public spacing, and then talking about policing and culture and work, economics, politics in the cities. So we're really, I think it's a big stretch that we're trying to do, but I have a lot of confidence that we're going to be able to accomplish that. In terms of the actual schedule of the program, I mentioned that we'll have a keynote speaker or 2 each day of the seminar, as well as opportunities for the delegates to engage in smaller groups with each other. We really value that kind of the best work that gets accomplished in the World Affairs Seminar is the social aspect that they get to engage in. And then they can come up with their own ideas, respond to the speakers, and then by the end of the week, complete some sort of capstone-like experience where they're not just learning, but they're teaching as well. And so we're really looking forward to that. we receive a lot of questions about how much time will I have to commit. We're finalizing the details of the agenda. However, it's looking like as I mentioned, we're trying to minimize the amount of screen time, knowing that their attention spans in front of the screen is dwindling, but we're going to keep it very engaging, kind of ranging from really 4 to maybe 5.5, 6 hours per day, spread out on and off throughout the day with ample breaks. And of course, it'll be a mix of required and elective sessions that they can self-select into. So I'm hoping, Nancy, or Linda, that answers your question.
I'd just like to add that during a normal seminar, when everyone is in person, the delegates start about 7 or 7:30 in the morning with a large meeting gathering in the cafeteria where it's real social and they interact a lot. And they're supposed to be in their rooms by 10 in the evening, and they are, but oftentimes there's a lot of activity going on in the dorms late into the evening. And we find this is very healthy and very productive. We're facing an issue, and we discuss this all the time, of the time zones, because we've got a 14, 15-hour gap in time zones, actually 24 hours, but, at least 12, because, once you get so far, things back off. And it's very interesting to see how the young people, even last year, they interacted an awful lot, and the chat rooms are very, very lively and very positive and very productive. So.
And I'll add, so we are, with reference to the time zones, I also see that question in the chat. It was brought up. We are intentionally scheduling kind of the most important sessions in the middle of the day Central Time, so that our participants tuning in from the Far East in England and Nepal, they're at the end of their day perhaps participating, but it's not too early for our participants that are maybe engaging from California, Alaska, or even Hawaii. All of our big sessions will be recorded so that if they do have a conflict or aren't able to join maybe at the beginning or the end of the day, they'll be able to tune in at a time that is appropriate to them, asynchronously rather than synchronously. So it's definitely a challenge that we learned last year in doing this for the first time, but certainly not one that we can't overcome.
Stuart, could you tell us what countries do have students attending? I'm just gonna, now I'm asking you to recite a list with no preparation. Sorry about that. But.
That's okay. I'll bounce it to Tom. I know that list is growing each day.
Well, starting with Africa, we have Eritrea, we have Nigeria, we have Ghana. I think we have South Africa, but I'm not sure. I believe we have a couple from somewhere in the Australian time zone, and I'm not sure if that's Newfoundland or Australia. But in Europe, we have Germany, Netherlands, Norway, Great Britain, which also includes Ireland and Scotland. Let's see, all across the United States. We just got some from Madison this morning. We have a lot of Californians who seem to be interested, some in Oregon, East Coast. We always get a group from Vermont and Connecticut. We have Texas, which we consider a country. And sorry, just joking. And obviously this large group from Iowa, which has really become a force. We usually get some delegates from Brazil. We always get some from Mexico. And just going through the whole list, I would expect we will have about 30 countries or nations represented. And the reason I use the term nations is because indigenous populations, indigenous Americans, Indian tribes are considered nations unto themselves, and so we usually get some from there too. Does that help?
It does. It's impressive. It's a great list, and it really kind of shows the breadth of that program.
Yeah, I did mention Afghanistan, right? Because we have both a speaker and 4 delegates from Afghanistan.
That's wonderful. Now, Stuart, since you're Mr. Social Media, you may know this a little bit more, but you know, my son went to RILA and then afterwards developed a whole chat group that was his little group that went to RILA, and they're still in contact. So last year you did your first virtual World Affairs conference. Have you heard stories from past students about them keeping in touch or chat groups, or kind of have those relationships kind of kept going despite, you know, distance and the fact that they were never actually there together at the same time?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So both formally and informally, the answer would be yes. Over the last several years since I came on board, we've tried to really curate a group, mostly through Facebook, of alumni of our program. We've established a Facebook group that we invite them at the end of the week to join. Here's where even I start, I mean, I'm 26 and I start to feel a little bit old when they tell me that Facebook, they don't use Facebook anymore because, and I'm quoting here, so I apologize, that Facebook is for old people. I learned last year that they started to engage in the late evenings after our formal session was over on a platform called Discord. I had not previously heard of Discord, but learned that it's really a kind of audio chat room server that they can join and invite their peers to. And even after kind of our formal program had ended, they continued the conversation there, which was really exciting to hear. And of course, they stay in contact with each other long after the seminar ends. I know, speaking personally, kind of anecdotally, I keep really close contact with some of my old roommates and some of my other friends from the United Kingdom. I stay very close in contact with, and I know that's the case for a lot of others as well.
That's great. And Stuart, I wouldn't consider you old at all. I know it is a challenge, but I know that, like, for us in the Tippy College, we actually use Instagram a lot to communicate, but that's all picture based. So it's a little more challenging, I would assume. But I think my son used a lot of Snapchat when they did it as well. But it's great to hear that they are staying connected. And so when you do the program in person, do you have alumni that come back and participate as like counselors or other positions?
That's also a really great question. Most of our counselors or facilitators are usually alumni of the program. And so they do stay really engaged long after their eligibility to participate has ended. We find that they come back as counselors, not necessarily to relive their experience, but to ensure that future delegates have just as wonderful of an experience as they do. And that really shows kind of the altruistic nature of some of the people that are on board with us and continue to support the program through their volunteer efforts.
That's great. Well, Tom and Stuart, I want to thank you both for the really great work that you're doing on World Affairs. And I want to let you know that in honor of you taking the time to speak to our club today, our club will actually make a contribution to Rotary International's Polio Plus program in your name. And you may be aware that that is actually matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so all told, that will provide 70 vaccinations to people around the world. And we're happy to do so in your name. So thank you for spending the time with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Happy to have it. And I also want to give a shout out to that amazing youth leadership committee that we have, chaired by Linda Farkas in our club. But that committee does a lot of great work. They send students to World Affairs. There's also RILA, the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards program that is for kids who are about a year younger. That's typically held within the state of Iowa. Both are really great experiences for young people and great programs that our club is very involved in. And I would be remiss if I did not thank the many Rotarians and the businesses in our community who have sponsored and provided the key financial support for us to be able to send so many kids to these programs. Because it's that sponsorship program, those individuals, those businesses that really make it so that we can have a tremendous impact in our community. So thank you to all of them as well. So before we go today, I do want to just remind people of a few things. Remember, support the Ride to End Polio with a $30 contribution in the chat, and it will be in the minutes as well. There's information on who to make the check out to and where to send that. I also want to remind people to be thinking about those community grants. What can we be doing? What impact can we make in our community? And if you have some questions, reach out to Chris Atchison or Tracy Trill, and we can, so that you can put together a proposal that will have a great impact in our community. So with that, I want to ask Devin if he can put up the 4-way test. And I believe that we have no other information for our club today. So if you'd like to, you're welcome to unmute your microphones and join me in the Rotary 4-way test. Of the things we think,
say, or do,
is it the
truth,
is it fair to all
to all concerned,
will it build
goodwill and better friendships,
will it be beneficial
to all concerned.
And with that, our meeting is ended. Thank you all very much. And as Christy's granddaughter said, love ya.
You guys.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Great programming. Great. You know, it's just great to hear about the impact.